Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. Last video I did on the Alex Pretti shooting by the, I guess we're going to say the CBP agents in Minnesota. We were void of a lot of facts, and the video had me really questioning, like, where does it stand? Like, how safe is it when it comes to the Second Amendment, like all the time? The government in your treatment of it, and if you're carrying a weapon, and should you always do it, and how are things going to be looked at nowadays? Like, these are the type of things I was thinking about and questioning. And it seems like we got a little bit more information that kind of changes a lot of different things and puts into perspective for if you're everyday carrying, if you are a part of your prep is a weapon, if you're a 2A type of guy. A couple of things that may happen to you in the future or should happen to you if you ever run into these type of scenarios. So I wanted to kind of take a look at these videos and see what is going on here. This first one is a compilation by the BBC, and this is them getting a video from this independent news organization, and then they put it with some face matching software, and it looks like it was Alex Pretti just days before he was fatally shot. Let's check it out.
The news movement appears to show Alex Pretti and other protesters in a confrontation with federal agents in the days after Renee Good's death. It's unclear exactly what the agents were doing. This man has the same coat, facial hair and gait as Alex Pretti, and a facial recognition tool suggests a 97% match. We see him shouting abuse at the agents, motioning to spit.
Okay, spit your bars.
And kicking a car.
All right. It's kind of aggressive.
As he gets up, we see a gun in his waistband. Shortly afterwards, he's let go. 11 days later, the killing of Alex Pretti would be seen across the world. For weeks, the story of...
So I guess, you know, here's the thing. I saw that video, and when I initially saw that video, it was all over X, and I was just thinking to myself, like, is this AI? This seems legit. It's on BBC.com. They ran it through like facial recognition software. Does he have like a protest outfit? Because he's wearing like the same shit that he wore the day seemingly when he got shot. But a few things that I almost thought that the video was fake until I saw this, and this is from another angle. This is from across the street. So that first video that we saw looked very professional. Almost looks like my YouTube cameras. Like it was just some really good shit. I was like, man, who's out there getting like that type of footage of an incident in such clarity? Normally it's some shaky cam like this shit, which looks like it's coming from someone's iPhone or some shit like that. When I saw this, I was like, yeah, that video's real. Yep. I think that a couple of things. If this first video is true, if this first video is accurate, and that is Alex Pretti, it seems to be, I'm seeing reports where his family kind of confirmed that it is him. I'm trying to see if I can see the original video that I saw on X and maybe let it play for y'all on loop. His family confirmed that it is him, and it does seem pretty like legit that it is him. I just don't see how any otherwise it could be. A couple of things I want to say about this. Number one is, if this is him and he is carrying a weapon, why are you acting like this? Like, okay, of course, we all have the right to bear arms. The Second Amendment is even for stupid people. I don't understand why you're acting like this when you're carrying a weapon. Like, that one thing is crazy to me. Secondly, I'm a little confused by levels of training when it comes to federal agents, because these guys showed a lot of restraint. I actually low-key think that he should have been probably detained, maybe even arrested. And if you're arrested, and in certain states, if you're arrested, even while you're pending trial, you can lose your carry permit. Not every state has different rules, depends on like how conservative or liberal your state is. But there's a possibility in Minnesota, if he was arrested and detained for a felony, which it kind of looks like he may have committed here, that he may have lost his carry permit, and he may not even been carrying on the day that he was shot. But that's kind of neither here nor there, because I could think that he was an idiot for the way that he was acting that day. And I can also think that this literally, these prior bad acts literally has nothing to do with the day that he was shot. Because when it comes to the standard that those law officers will be judged against is going to be against what a reasonable officer would do. And unless they knew about this prior incident, none of this stuff matters. Now, for us in the court of moral opinions, yeah, he's an idiot for acting this way. In my opinion, he seems more like a provocateur, and he's kind of always out here. Some people I've seen in some comments that he was kind of looking for like unalive by cop. I know that for me personally, if you're going to EDC a weapon, I personally don't think it's very prudent that you take a weapon to a protest, because there is an inherent heightened risk of getting into an altercation. But I think that you're allowed to, and if you want to, you can. There would be some people who are totally against the Second Amendment that they don't think you should take a weapon to Starbucks because there's like no risk of anything ever going down. Me personally, I kind of like to rock with my shit everywhere. Okay. But I just know that if I acted that way, maybe those agents decided to just kind of like pin him down and get up out of there because they were surrounded by a lot of people. They don't know who could have came around them. They may not even be able to facilitate an arrest in that vehicle, and they may have had to wait for backup, and they decided they didn't want to, and it's like, fuck it, it's a rental car, we don't care. It ain't no telling what they thought, right? Because if that's not a government vehicle, they're like, man, fuck it, we'll just pay for it, I don't care, we're trying to get up out of here. But, I mean, he was kind of aggressive. I mean, spitting towards the law and kicking a vehicle, and you clearly have at your freaking 4 o'clock a weapon on you. One thing that I saw the other day is that President Trump made some comments that said he didn't like it. He didn't like the fact that he came there with a weapon and 2 full loaded magazines. And I will say that President Trump says a lot of crazy shit. Okay. And over his decades of like saying shit, you know, he used to be a Democrat, now he's a Republican. And like, I think that he doesn't like to look bad. And this shooting makes his DHS and his government look bad. So he's going to say what he needs to say to not look bad. And so do I think that he's going to actively pursue laws that restrict someone from carrying a weapon at a protest? I don't think he would. I mean, arguably to say he probably put like some of the most judges in place to protect the Second Amendment than like any president in the past has. So like actions speak louder than words in this particular instance. So him just kind of like getting the mic put in front of his face and saying some crazy shit, I wasn't a fan of it, but at the same time, he be saying crazy shit. But what I saw in this video is that if you are someone that does everyday carry a weapon, whether you literally are open carrying an AR like a nincompoop, or you carry a AR in your bag like I do sometimes. Every now and again, I literally will fold this up and carry it with me in a bag, depending on where I'm going that day. And if I feel like I need to be able to effectuate different rounds down range for whatever reason. But most times I usually have on me just a pistol. You got to be responsible. I think that you should absolutely do your First Amendment right, which is protest. I don't think you should have to be all mute and like stand on the sidewalk and be all cute with it. You know what I'm saying? If you need to spit your bars, bro, spit your bars. But if you decide to spit your bars, just be prudent with the way that you decide to do it. Now, I'll say this. When it comes to the actual shooting that day, I think it's going to result in one of 3 things. Number 1, that first officer who approached those women and eventually Alex Pretti, I think that it is a possibility that it may be found that he was not actually able to detain anyone there because he was not executing a federal law, that he assaulted those women, and that he could, and if he shot the first shot, he could be brought up on murder charges. That's number 1. Number 2 could be if it was the other guy that drew his gun and he didn't actually, if he shot the first shot and he clearly saw that he was disarmed, he could be brought up on murder charges. Number 3 is that if, it doesn't matter if those 2 dudes drew their weapons, if the person that took the weapon out of Pretti's back, whether accidentally discharged his weapon, he shot the weapon, it discharged on its own, they heard a gunshot and they started shooting, I think it might be a justified shoot. People may not like that, but it could actually be a justified shoot, because if you're a law enforcement officer and you hear a gunshot and you have just heard the words gun, 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 you may think that your brother in arms is getting shot at, and you may start to shoot. So me personally, the second guy who began to shoot, I think, is less off the hook than the first. If the first round came from an officer, I think that's going to be really hard, because in theory, he was disarmed. This is on the actual standard for what a reasonable officer would do. Now, when it comes to training purposes, I think they need to go through some more training, because this is like a tale of two stories, what I saw on these videos. In one video, this Pretti is freaking acting like a damn wild animal. He's kicking vehicles. He's spitting on people. I mean, like, spit can be considered assault. I don't know what the hell's in your spit. And then you're kicking vehicles and you're destroying property and you got a weapon on you. Like, that's like super arrestable offenses, right? And in the second instance, it's highly likely that that other officer may have committed assault on those women. And, you know, because technically you're a federal officer, you can't really arrest people for jaywalking. And they weren't in the front of the vehicle, and he could have drove off. There's so many different things. My personal opinion is, I think that when that officer took the weapon out of the waistband of Alex Pretti, he accidentally discharged a round. That's just what I think. And when he discharged that round, I think the other two officers began to shoot. Now, I don't have the evidence. I wasn't wearing a body cam, and I wasn't grappling that day. So I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I think that if that is the result, it will be a justified shoot. It will be unfortunate, because civilly, those two dudes are going to get sued out of the wazoo. And they're going to probably have to pay millions of dollars. The government might have to pay Pretti's family millions of dollars, but legally, I think they might be fine. I think the second scenario could be that the first round came from that officer. And if it did come from that officer, I think he could be in trouble, but the second officer is going to be fine, in my opinion. That's just what I think. But I'm not a lawyer. I used to teach at a law school, but I'm not a lawyer, and I don't teach there anymore. But what do you think? First of all, does this give you any type of different opinion? Does it change your perspective on how you're going to do your everyday carry, especially if like agents were to come to your city? And what do you think about this situation, knowing these facts about his previous actions? I would love to know what your comments down below. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.